Tier 4 awareness, the average human. I'm sure everybody's got a flow of understanding and is starting to see how this classification system works. Excellent work, by the way. So let's jump right into the classification of the average human, which makes up the majority of the population. Tier 4 life forms analyze cause and effect, and they are very programmable. The ability to analyze cause and effect allows them to take advantage of things that will happen in the future. This phenotype expression of biology not only takes advantage of the consolidation of proteins by all lesser life forms, they also usurp a Tier 3's entire existence into servitude in order to save calories. As an emergent property, a Tier 4 gains the ability to empathize with a Tier 3, and therefore see how to manipulate that form of biology. The Tier 4 also has an increased capacity to create mental maps of the environment. They also have the ability to manipulate matter and energy in the environment. For example, invention. What I call the ability to manifest intention into reality. We're not only cooking with bacon grease, but we take it a step further and make a fucking BLT. The major separating factor of classifications from Tier 3 to Tier 4 is the ability to create an intricate knowledge pool and pass it from generation to generation. This is what allows expanded consciousness to be expressed. In this form, we have the ability to analyze cause and effect to the point where we identify questions that we cannot answer. There's also a highly developed parietal lobe. Epigenetics has likely dictated the strengthening of this part of the brain. The parietal lobe is what's responsible for our ability to know where our foot is without looking at it, among other things. This is largely what yields our perception of self. That leads us to the perception of a Tier 4 life form. How much of reality is perceived in this state? At this level, we are able to perceive a great deal, but there is still more that we cannot perceive than what we can. Combine this fact with our curiosity and our ability to ask questions, we are inevitably faced with the dilemma. We are going to identify when we cannot perceive the answer to a string of cause and effect analysis. It's likely this factor that yielded multiple thought processes and stimulated different areas of the brain at this stage of our evolution. Certain phenotype expressions became specialized in abstract problem solving as well as keen observations. This gave birth to philosophy and science. Other phenotype expressions of our biology specialized in imagination, which yielded art and religion. The combination of both of these phenotype expressions working together yielded invention on a grand scale. The phenotype expressions that specialized in imagination and religion had the benefit of expending less calories in order to get their fill-in-the-blank answers to those cause and effect dead ends, whereas the abstract problem-solving phenotype expressions of our biology tended to expend a tremendous amount of calories observing and thinking. As a result of these factors, the imagination phenotype expression of our biology were the ones who got things done, and therefore were the ones who were more successful in breeding. Think about it. One phenotype expression sits there and thinks about it for days and gets nothing done, physically, whereas the other phenotype expression fills in the blanks very easily and quickly, using imagination, and then goes about finding their next meal or mating. This is likely why there aren't that many intellectuals in comparison to the majority, which is what we refer to as average intelligence. It also explains why so many prefer to fill in the blank with an opinion rather than accept when they don't know something. The abstract problem-solving phenotype expression of our biology is also less likely to exist because they need a whole bunch of other forms of biology to do their physical work for them, or they will not have the calories to spare for the purpose of thinking. Again, we are a combined consciousness, not individuals. With these thoughts in mind, it becomes more understandable when you observe a phenotype expression of biology that is not as physical as others. Some have specialized to sit around and think so that the rest don't have to, but the rest must play a support role. A little more about perception of Tier 4, average human. There is a certain genetic predisposition that prevents them from obtaining a higher tier of consciousness. It is the abstract problem solvers that continue to evolve into Tier 5 expressions of awareness. The abstract problem solving phenotype expression was building the necessary tools to increase mental complexity for many generations throughout evolution, whereas the imagination phenotype expression stayed more simple as well as physically hardy. The Tier 4 stopped evolving because they were comfortably filling their niche and there was no need. So as the epigenetic effects perpetuated the development of these particular phenotype expressions, we've begun to experience another significant divergence of our possible expressions. I'm not a big fan of speciesism, but for the sake of compartmentalizing this vastly complex topic, I will entertain it for the sake of the learners. Again, this is all a product of emergent properties. I dare say an inevitability. I have more to say about Tier 4 lifeforms, but this video was just so you understand the classifications and to lead into the next tier of awareness, which is Tier 5 transhumanism, or what I've recently heard to them referred to as Homo evolutus or Homo laptopicus. These are also what I refer to as the elites that manipulate the world's geopolitical landscapes. Again, thanks so much for attempting to understand the current state of our emergent properties and joining the thought revolution. Please remember to subscribe, thumb up, and share. See you in the next video.